let's get to the Pelicans unless you have anything else on the Grizzlies.
No, this is as I thought was going to be one of my favorite teams to talk about, and I'm just not looking forward to it anymore.
Well, the
Not gonna
options are there, right? Just what are they going to, I don't know what, if they're going to pursue any of them. The Pelicans are somewhat similar. They've got the Lakers draft for a couple more years. They've got that sweet 24-25 pick with they can take the option on. They've got a bunch of Milwaukee first coming in. They're super deep, but that hasn't, I think what we've learned is that all that depth is cool, except if you don't have like two of your three best players in the lineup at all times, it doesn't really matter how
and
good you're.
Zion gonna needs to be reevaluated in another 2 weeks. Just I get it, but it's just like
Yeah.
kind of sucks.
Right. So I think, what are they're most likely players to be traded. There's actually a few. I think it's probably Devonte Graham, just because if you're gonna do anything, if you do make a trade, you're gonna need some salary ballast, and he's making an average of about 12 million over this year and the next two. Jackson Hayes, I'd throw in there too, maybe. I think
You have to move him, right? Like you're not going to pay him in restricted free agency.
yeah, his just that his number's lower, and then you're going to have to include more stuff if you're trying to bring back, a moderate level salary. Valanciunas is someone I'd look at too, even though he's been super valuable as like a post threat and just a bailout guy with so many, offensive weapons out. Um, Again, like we just can't. We're not going to say Miles Turner, but if you're looking for, like, it's just sorry. I know this is like 2 years old, this bit, but Olynyk, even PJ Washington, Mo Bamba, Muscala, Zach Collins, just some bigs that
Nas
could.
Reed, I don't know how they get him per
Yeah,
se, but Nas Reed.
yeah. I mean, they could get whoever they want. Just find the matching salary and include a pick. Like it's done.
Well, just like the Nas Reed's going to be a free agent, so you're not. I can't give up a first for him.
No,
Is Minnesota going to take 2 seconds? And also, oddly, Najee Marshall's been really important in what they've been doing. So
yeah,
it's like, are you giving up Najee Marshall for him?
no. I'm not trading him. I think he's
Yeah.
proved to be a rotation guy before he got hurt. So yeah, they're a little like. I think they're probably more likely to do something than the Grizzlies, just because the picks they have and the movable salary options are just there's just more of them. And I think it's just got to be some stretch, some shooting. That's assuming everybody's healthy and you're running your full strength offense again around Zion. I just want as much space as I can get, and Valanciunas, while he has a great up fake and can make a few, it's just not the same as having a real like quick trigger threat out there. I think that can pass too. I would like a big guy that's going to make a pass or two if the defense is kind of bent and collapsing because Zion ruined it.
Wow. So you are anti Miles Turner. That's good to know. What is the bigger need though? That type of a big, or can you go with just a wing that's going to sling threes in higher volume? And I know that part of the deflated volume in New Orleans is, I don't want to say by design, but just intrinsic of, well, they get to the rim at will because Zion exists. But I do think they need sort of that like unconscious threat where you could go and I actually did in the trade that we'll get to, but I'm curious as to what you think would be the bigger priority for them.
I still am just fixated on the big guy that can shoot. So because like I do believe in, I think once you have Ingram back out there, I think once Trey Murphy can always add volume. Like McCollum's a good. There's enough shooting elsewhere. I just am so hung up on God. What would this team look like if there were a big guy dragging a center out of the way of Zion? So I still am. Maybe it's kind of hack at this point, but I still just want a big guy that can shoot.
Uh, Doing something big feels out of the question for them. And the trade I came up with is the Pelicans get Malik Beasley, the Jazz get Devonte Graham, Herb Jones, and Chicago's 2024 second round pick. And so Herb Jones been banged up a lot this year, has definitely regressed on offense, and I would even argue like sort of defense as well. I think we've seen a lot of that sort of these sophomore reality checks a little bit for Trey Murphy there too. Still a valuable prospect, but what's interesting about this is Herb Jones is a team option for next season, and then he becomes a restricted free agent. And Devonte Graham has the one guaranteed year at 12.1 plus a $3 million guarantee basically the year after. And so you're looking at 1 year and let's say almost 15 million of Devonte Graham. Is that enough if you're Utah to part with Malik Beasley? And then conversely, if you're the Pelicans, are you willing to give up when everyone thought that Herb Jones was good enough to be all defense as a rookie? Are you willing to give up on that now to get Malik Beasley, who talk about 3-point volume. Like that's someone who is just gonna let him rip.
Yeah, he'll get him up. I think so. I like this for the Jazz just because I like getting Jones in there. He's the type of like cheap, project, high ceiling kind of devalued. It's a weird combination, devalued asset that I'm after if I'm the Jazz. For the Pels, like, so you're telling me that my closing lineup might be McCollum, Beasley, Ingram, Zion, and Valanciunas. Like, how are we stopping anybody? I mean, do you have to get Daniels out there to put fires out as a rookie all of a sudden? And like he can only do so. And if Nance is out there, I guess that's better than Valanciunas from a switching perspective. I'm just not worried about the Pelicans offense if everybody's healthy. I like, so, I guess Beasley, we've established that shooting would be cool. So I don't know. I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth, but I'd rather just have it from a big guy. And I think Jones, even though he hasn't been the same guy as he was as a rookie, I think he fills a niche that the Pelicans might still really need. Like, what if he could play like he did at the end of towards the end of last year? Then he's definitely on the floor to close games for you. Beasley feels like I just don't know where you're going to get your stops if he's out there with those other guys.
There doesn't seem to be like a really good trade target for them because it almost feels like they're built to only go balls to the wall.
Well, what do you think about Porzingis for them? Like, not that that's been rumored or on the
Oh, there's not
table.
enough injury problems with Ingram and Zion
Well,
on your team.
sure, but if if we're talking about bigs that can shoot, we haven't really. I mean, he's not talked about at all, and that would be a much bigger swing, especially because you're going to have to pay him probably.
What is the trade there? I'm assuming Valanciunas and Graham and then stuff.
You just start throwing picks at the problem. Like
his lower body's
like now team, so I guess they don't care about.
I would if they're gonna go do that, I would just rather trade for Miles Turner at that point.
Well, yeah, but we can't talk about that because it's been talked about too much. We're not allowed to mention Miles Turner, even though, again, only thing we'll say is he's obviously the perfect player to be there.
Yeah, so trade for Jalen Smith. You want to talk about that, Pacers big man? We can move. I don't expect them to do anything big. I expect them to do something though. That's where I'm just sort of at with the Pelicans.
Yeah, I would agree.